Welcome back, everyone. Going into second hour here at Court of Swords. We're heading to Grasping Hands Hall.
All right, so let's talk about what you do with all your stuff, because you can't carry around all that shit with you when you go to his house, right?
Okay.
How much? You got thousands and thousands of coins to do
Can
stuff.
we exchange it down to shit? Like,
I guess is that the first thing you do? Do you go and get it traded in for other coins? Or
Maybe.
do you pile it up at home and lock the door? What's the plan?
because we have a lot of like small coin, you know what I mean, that we could just turn into like gold. I guess it's still gonna be a lot of gold.
Yeah, we still have thousands of just gold pieces alone.
Why haven't we gotten a really good fucking chest? Everywhere we go, there's this chest. Like, there's chests that have like sort. Can we buy one of those in this city? Would this city have
Yeah.
something?
Mm-hmm.
It would be. Yeah, could we find a place that sells a chest with a really good lock and also possibly a trap?
One of those, yes. The other will be more difficult, but yeah, sure.
A trap I could try to fashion on there. I have thieves' tools, and I am proficient in them. Isn't that for trap setting?
Uh-huh.
So we can go buy a chest for sure.
Yeah, we at least want a really high quality, well-made chest.
We should send... This is really fucked up that I'm about to say this. We should send Max because no one's going to ask him for more money. Because if they send fucking me...
I don't know who Max is.
I mean Berg. Because if we send the fucking angel, they're going to be like, oh, it's the angel. This guy has tons of money. And if we send me, I'm a flying bird.
You're starting to develop a reputation in Bahia, right?
Yeah.
You have a reputation for being filthy rich, living above the tea owner, like the tea house guy or the tea maker's shop. People, I think the general consensus, and you'd have to like ask around, but that yes, Azrael is the one in charge.
Yeah.
Jubilant Black Ale is some kind of weird pet, and Berg is his slave. And if you would like to continue that illusion, sure, go ahead and start getting Berg to run errands for you. If you'd like to change the people of this monastery's opinion of you, then you could do that too.
I gotta hit
Also,
level 5 first, and then we're killing everyone.
Would this town have a shop that sells magical items?
No.
No. Okay.
The only magic items that would be present in this town would be in the hands of people who are currently like using them. Like the abbot, guaranteed has a bunch of magic items.
Dan, one thing
there are several nobles who probably own, magic potions in case of emergency, that kind of thing. But no, like there's no like wizard. I mean,
welcome to RollPlay Blades. Today we're killing the abbot.
Yeah, I mean, if you
how are we gonna kill the abbot?
Simple, we kill the abbot. So you know that's the thing. He's the richest guy in town.
Voices just change.
yeah, we're all British folk.
Because all of a sudden we just snap into a different reality. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And how much would a place cost us that has better security if we wanted to upgrade our house?
You need to make connections. You got to go uptown, right? Like down here, you're already allied with the top of the pile, right? Grasping Hands is a powerful guy. He has connections up city, but he doesn't live there because that would take him out of his main jurisdiction. He runs the lower city, but he knows people, right? He knows the abbot because that's why he's allowed to continue operating. So yeah.
So do we want to send me to go get a chest?
We got a lot of options.
Yes, you do. You can do a lot of stuff with that gold, right? It doesn't have to just sit in like liquid assets. You can invest your money. You can buy things, right? You could buy real estate. You can invest in social institutions. You can give it to a church.
I mean, why
you can start a business. You can do all kinds of shit.
What if we just left Max with the gold and me and Azrael went to Grasping Hands and then we came back and figured out what to do with the gold then?
Berg's just sitting here, sitting on a pile of gold. Just
yeah, you got you have your fucking what is it, a hammer? Is that what? Yeah, the hammer just sitting at the bottom of it. Yeah, just watching the door.
We can let Berg guard the stuff while we at least finish up with Grasping Hands for now.
Don't get in any fights.
We won't.
All right. You could also say the same to me. Who knows? People are gonna come in thinking they're gonna get like a nice easy money smash and grab, and then it's just Berg like, hello.
So Berg's gonna stay home and watch the cash. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what are the other two of you doing?
We're
Going to see Grasping Hands to tell him that we completed the quest, basically.
Okay. All right. So so you head out into the city. I guess, do you ride your magic horse around town? Is that also
yeah.
where do you keep it? It doesn't eat or poop, right? Like it's magic.
It's magic.
It's a magic not eating, not pooping horse, but you do need to put it somewhere, right? Like,
Do you just put it in the
Let me
house with us? Does
see.
he just stay inside?
the horse cannot go up the stairs.
He's magical horse though. I can make.
No, sadly, cannot.
Says I can dismiss the horse, causing it to disappear.
And bring
I
it
don't
back.
know. I don't know if I have to spend a spell slot to bring it back, though.
Yes, yeah. I mean, you can dismiss it to get rid of it, but you have to conjure it again.
Okay, so I guess I will leave him by the house, and I can telepathically communicate with it. So if anything
within a certain distance,
within a mile. So is this place bigger than a mile?
the town, yeah,
The town?
not
How
by
about-
not by too much because it's pretty small, but
Why don't you just send the horse on like a tour of the town so that the people follow him and not you, and we can go to Grasping Hands.
They know the horse ain't got money.
you know that's a real good way to get that horse killed.
Yeah.
Look, it's a magical horse.
Yeah, someone will kill it for meat and then it'll disappear. So
Yeah, get pranked, bro.
all right. Well, I mean, I'm just saying, like, if you tie it up outside your house, that's fine. It'll just hang out and be bored. But people will notice it and see it and pay attention to it. It's like having a Lambo parked outside of a flop house.
Someone mentioned that in chat. That's actually kind of like a funny scheme that we could do. Just keep selling that horse.
That's a really good
Oh,
way to get
yeah.
fast run out of town.
Oh yeah.
Oh shit!
Oh god.
If things get tough, guys, we know what we're doing.
Just
Yeah,
go
you
from
can-
town to town selling the pale white horse.
Yeah, that's why the gods. That's why the fountain gave you this power, Azrael, to con people. by selling
Yeah.
your magical horse.
He's
Silly
a vengeance
mortals.
paladin, man. He's really getting back in merchants that fucked him over.
Yeah. Yeah,
In a
screw
past
them over.
life. Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Will you tie it up then, Dan? Is that what you're gonna do for now?
Yeah, I will leave him there. I don't have to tie him up. He just obeys my orders, so I'll just have him
Just
stay
put him
there.
on.
Just-
Put him on watch outside. So if someone does decide
he's
to
just-
go and
he's gonna hang outside and just tell me if anything happens, because I would assume Grasping Hands is less than a mile away from us.
Yeah, we could say that. You're in
Guess
his
so.
neighborhood, so yeah.
All right, so me and Gail will go to Grasping Hands with the big ass head.
Okay. All right. So you just walk the streets carrying the dripping, now weeks
Yeah, I think it would
Severed
keep
head.
people away from us
Yep.
for a while.
old. Yeah, you get a lot of looks, like, and a couple of people. You know, like you walk by an inn and like a traveler's inn, and there's a bunch of people playing mahjong outside, and one of them sees you, and he's like, "The heroes came back," and he like waves, and then his like drunk friend is like, "Welcome back, heroes!" And everybody's like shouting and like waving and like, you know, seeing your severed head and getting excited about it. You do not move stealthily through the streets.
Hmm.
And eventually you make your way to the place where where do you go to meet him? Because you don't really know like where his house is or anything.
we go to
The tea place he's always at,
yeah, we'll go to
Yeah,
the tea shop and
place.
see if he's there.
Okay.
or at least someone could summon him if he's not.
Yeah. So you get there, and I think the owner or like the manager, or whatever, the guy at the front, says to you, like, he comes out to meet you, and you get to the front. They're kind of waiting for you, and he bows obsequiously, and then looks awkwardly at the severed head dripping like venomous gloop on the ground, and he says, "You must be here to see the master, but I cannot allow you to," and he gestures to the head, "bring this inside. It would frighten the customers." He kind of like looks at it and he says, I can have someone care for it while you come inside if you wish. Or I could go and tell Grasping Hands that you have arrived."
This is for him. Either he comes to us or we bring it to him.
Yeah, yes, I'll let him know you've brought him a gift. And he like bows a couple of times, walking backwards, and disappears into the tea shop. So so you go in there. I guess you hang out outside while he goes inside, and then he comes back and says, yes, the master will see you, but please, if you will. And he gestures to the side of the building. It's like, we have a more direct entrance. And he comes outside to kind of like lead you around the alley into the back entrance, the tea shop. So you you're led inside. He opens the door, and you come into like a kind of crowded back room. There are people kind of moving around. Like you're essentially in the rest of the back hallway of the restaurant, so you can smell the tea that they're making, and maybe you walk by, you see a chef, big guy with an apron, like cutting the head off a fish. And there's obviously like some moving around. Somebody walks past you with a big jug of like rice wine, tries not to spill it as you squeeze past each other. And he leads you through this hallway to a door, and he knocks on it a couple of times in a particular pattern. And then there's a pause, and then the door, you hear a latch and a bar sliding, and the door opens. And he kneels or he nods and gestures, and he says, "Please, after you."
All right, then we walk into the room.
Yep.
Okay.
I'm hovering. I'm not walking. We don't walk anywhere anymore.
Well,
Okay.
you don't.
Yeah.
So in the room, it's a room. It's full. Like the ceiling, like a couple of feet on the ceiling, is just this like blue cloud of like haze. The room immediately smells of this like sort of sickly, like sweet smell. It's very warm in here. There's a big round table in the middle with a bunch of seats around it. There are a bunch of men and women who are, it's like almost like sauna-esque. Like they're stripped to the waist. They all have like intricate tattoos, and they're playing some kind of like a betting game. So they're like slamming little wooden markers on the table and shouting to each other. And in the middle there is a like a water pipe with all these like tubes coming off of it, and in between rounds they like take a draw on this pipe and are like shouting at each other. And so you come in, and you can see at the back corner of the room, sitting in a big like overstuffed chair with a bunch of like servants around him, you see Grasping Hands, and he's just like leaned back in this chair, and he's got a long wooden pipe in his mouth, and he's having a conversation with another one of his like functionaries, someone who's just wearing like long robes, and they're talking about something as you come in.
Dan, are you carrying the head, or am I?
I am.
Okay.
It's probably pretty heavy.
All right.
And do you have thumbs? Like
I mean, I have ways to grasp
okay,
things.
He's got opposable thumbs. Yeah.
Okay.
So he can hold objects.
Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do?
So we enter, and we're like we're far across the room from him.
The room isn't that big, but he there's no way he doesn't notice that you've come in, but he's not being like, "Hey, friends, come on over." And there's this big like gambling thing that's happening in the middle of the room. Like his little like inner circle guys are all like shouting and knocking over rice wine and being kind of rowdy. So there's kind of an obscuration between the two of you.
Is there like a table in front of him or near him that we could like drop this head on?
No, not really. He has to his left. There's a woman in like servant's robes holding a tray, and on the tray there are little red wrapped like bundles. It's hard to see what they are from here. So she's just kind of like standing there holding it. She's acting like a table. And then there's another servant who is holding a clay pot and is pouring drinks for him while he's talking to this person that he's talking to. The only real table is the game table in the middle of the room that everyone is playing this complicated like mahjong dominoes thing on.
All right. So are these people around the table look like they're important, like they're part of his like posse, or they're just like dudes?
Make a perception check.
Okay. 18.
Yeah, these guys are acting like, I mean, this is the VIP room, and these guys are acting like VIPs, right? They're like his rowdy kind of his friends. You don't know what he thinks of them, but they certainly act like they're hanging out in the boss's room, having a good time.
And from what I've gathered from interacting with Grasping Hands, does he respect like demonstrations of like
Power.
assertiveness or power? Or
what you're wondering is, you're trying to guess his reaction if you just like throw the thing in his lap.
If I slam it on the table with all the dudes and knock over their pipe.
Make an insight check.
Oh God.
The important rolls always fucking suck.
He is gonna love it if you do that. He's gonna think that you are just the coolest, toughest guy in town.
Okay. Oh, all these ones today. Okay.
He's gonna respect you forever and ever.
Hey,
I guess
this motherfucker knew that this shit was way more dangerous than what we were doing. There was some other stuff at play. Do it, I say.
I say I would just walk over across the room and drop it in front of him on the floor, just like so it doesn't like hit him or anyone else. Just
okay. So you just like walk around the table and walk up, and he's having a conversation with this person. And I think that as you approach, you pick up they're speaking in some kind of like regional dialect. If you concentrated, you could eavesdrop, but you're already on your way over there. Some kind of regional dialect from the Court of Swords. And then the guy he's talking to like looks over at you, and you notice he's like missing an ear, and he's got like a big nasty scar on his neck, and like up onto his head where it's like his hair doesn't grow, and then the rest of his hair is like kind of braided and like tied up under his ear. And this guy like looks over at you as you walk up, and you just drop the head on the floor between them, like in front of him.
Yeah, right in front of Grasping Hands.
Okay, plunk. And he looks at it, looks up at you, takes a long drag off his pipe, and he's like holds the pipe up, and the woman standing next to him like picks it up and puts it on the tray, and he exhales through his big nostrils, and like looks at you, and he says, Azrael, it's good to see you again. I presume you have a reason for ruining my rug.
I apologize for that. The rug was innocent in this. But we completed the job. And I needed you to see what we had to fight for her.
And he looks at it and he says, you seem none the worse for wear. And he looks and he says, did Berg not make it?
He's currently tired and resting at home.
So when you say that, he looks at the guy in the like orange and blue robes, the one that he was talking to, the scarred dude, and he says something in that like dialect, and then nods, and the guy turns like bows and then leaves.
Who was that?
He says, a friend of mine from Southland. We were having a business conversation, but don't worry, you didn't interrupt. And he gestures at the head on the floor. We were finished anyway. Please. And he gestures, says, sit. And you notice that he's had servants, like they've just come over and brought you chairs.
Azrael doesn't have any knowledge of Crewcrete, does he? I don't think he ever saw him once.
No.
So
none of us have. Or Berg's the only one that has. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't know that that's who that is. I'm assuming that's who it is. So I guess Azrael wouldn't know that. So I'm just like, well, we've done what you asked. What's her name? God.
Nakino.
Nakino controls the ruin.
He nods and he says, good. Not my primary concern, but it is always nice to be able to help a friend, especially one who has had such bad luck in the past. Tell me about the Scarlet Banner Company. What of them?
I think you'll be quite pleased. Their outpost you sent us to. isn't so much an outpost anymore. It's more of a bonfire.
He nods and he says, "Do they know who you were working for when you burned their camp?"
No. There's no way they could have known who we were.
He nods. Good. Good. It will take them some time to realize what's happened. And he kind of like thinks over it, and as soon as he pauses and he gets this kind of like thinky look on his face, the woman hands him his pipe again, and it's been like she's undone the little bundle and like put it in the pipe and lit it and hands it to him, and he takes it. He takes a long drag, blows the smoke out of his nose. Done well. Appreciate that. And he looks you up and down and he says, "Did you recover anything that might have been of use to me? If we knew the sites that they were finding this material at, we could make sure they don't fall back into their hands."
Yes, we did recover some items, but I warn you, the things they found in those tombs killed many. There's an evil god involved with this, a serpent.
He laughs. He like chuckles slightly when you say that, and he says, "But Azrael, does not the wheel tell us there are no evil gods? Even the devil has his place in the great cycle."
I'm sorry, I don't know your human religions. All I know is the fountain.
He grins. Good. Good. All things from it, all things return to it.
Indeed.
I think that we have worldly matters to attend to. Show me what you found. I mean, gestures like it's one of his huge rocky hands.
And give him the map of the areas, like the sites.
Okay.
Just the map.
So he like rolls out and looks at it. And he's like, "Interesting." Very interesting. This will be of some use. And he like just puts it over his shoulder, and there's already like somebody, one of his lieutenants, like takes it, and he looks at it, and grasping hands. He doesn't say anything to him, but as he's talking to you, he makes a couple of like hand gestures, and the guy nods and then like leaves with the map. And he says, "While you were gone, someone came to speak with me. It is a sensitive matter concerning your friend." And I think when he says that, it cuts to Berg. What are you doing at home all alone here, Berg?
You're muted, Max.
Sorry.
Berg's probably stretching, kind of contemplating, like looking exits, entrances and stuff, just because he's there by himself. And he's contemplating how he would defend, if people were trying to barge in. Realizing that there's, how many points of exit are there? Is it just the one?
Just two. There's the balcony, and then there's the door.
Yeah. So yeah, he's considering what would be the most likely.
Can you make a perception check for me, please?
Okay. And beyond that, he's just stretching, weapon at the ready, at least right next to him.
He's flexing his danger sense is really what he's doing.
All right.
Yeah.
So, Berg, you hear a sound. You hear a faint like scraping by the door, just kind of like a little scratching sound.
Which door?
The only door.
Okay, I was
The
sorry. I
front
didn't know if there
door.
was like a door going to the balcony.
Yeah.
Okay. Berg, weapon at the ready.
What are you gonna do? Just like hang out?
I guess maybe brace the door. Does it sound like some? Well, what kind of sound is it? Is it somebody just out in front of the door? Or is it somebody like moving the
you
door?
could walk over the door and like crouch down.
Adam, what
Yeah.
is my horse seeing right now that's outside?
The horse is seeing the street. There's just some stuff. There's like people walking by. Maybe the shopkeep had a short conversation with the horse. Yeah, nothing out of the usual.
As soon as he says to me, it concerns your friend, I tell the horse telepathically, check the entrance. Tell it to.
The horse doesn't have hands, so it can't open the door.
I mean, just to look up, look around, and see if the.
Sure.
Can we have a horse voice,
is,
please, Adam? Can we have Mr.
Anyone's
Adam horse?
if anyone's
tell me as Azrael, I'm gonna go check the door.
Hey there.
What do you see here, Azrael?
The magical horse gets an intelligence bump so it can understand what I'm saying. So like I tell it to tell me if anyone approaches the entrance to our place.
Yeah. There's some shady individual. Yeah, now I just want to do horse voice all the time.
You won't believe what I've seen, Azrael.
This old man over here. So anyway, you
Goofy.
the horse,
Your name's horse is Goofy, by the way.
the horse can't really tell. I mean, it can tell people apart, but it doesn't really have the context that you're looking for to be like, well, there's some shady guys. The other thing to consider too is like the horse can tell you like, yes, some people have come and gone from the doorway, but you're not the only apartment in the building. There are other stuff above you. So other people use the stairs that enter and exit your apartment. You have the one floor, but people will continue up above you. So yeah, some people have come and gone, but
okay. Back to Berg.
Okay, Berg. So yeah, you come over to the door and like, you want to listen?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So you hear like scraping. He's like clicking and scraping, and you hear someone be like, "Shh, quiet! You're making too much noise." And then one's like, "There's no one inside. Shut up!" And there's like these two people talking and like doing that like stages. They're like, "Shut up! No, you shut up! Shut up! Try to concentrate."
So they're doing that to my door.
You can hear that outside the door, yeah. And then like some clicking and scraping, and then you hear like, "Okay, I've almost got," and then like a clunk, and it's like, "Fuck! Hold on!" And like more clicking.
All right. In this, the layout of the door is our door like right next to the stairs. Say, for instance, if Berg wanted to just plow through the door and use that to knock them down into the stairs, would that be a feasible move? Or
you just want to like blast the door?
Yeah, if I charge right through the door and just...
I mean, you could do so and destroy your door, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's fucking door.
You could just jump off the balcony, you know.
Yeah, but leave the gold? Why the fuck would I do that?
That's true. You got to protect our gold. You got to protect the house, actually.
It could just be some thieves, right? You know, just trying to steal stuff. Like beggars. You try to scare them away.
Berg takes a moment to think as they're fucking it up.
What does Berg thinking sound like?
Okay. Thieves or professionals? They sound like pussies. Maybe open the door. Give them a real scare. Yes. And then Berg opens the door and
I mean, that's what we think. That's what Berg thinks his thinking sounds like, but really we just hear meow 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 meow. All right, so you're just gonna. So the door opens in, I guess. Yeah.
Berg, his intention is to open the door, have his weapon drawn like this, you know, like ready, and intimidate the fuck out of anybody who's there. I think Berg opens the door and immediately just says, "Can I help you?"
All right, so these two bumbling goons fall into you just pull the door and they just tumble into the room. One of them was holding a set of lockpicks, which now fly out onto the floor and like land at your feet. And there are these two guys. They're probably in their like late 30s, early 40s. They're dressed like beggars. They're just wearing like kind of rags. One of them has one of those big round hats, but it's on his back. They're both like balding and have like kind of scraggly beards. And yeah, they just tumble onto the floor at your feet. And they're like, ah! And they like look up and start immediately just talking over one another, like babbling to you. You can't make out anything either of them.
Weapons on them that Berg can see?
What's that? Do they have weapons?
Do you have any weapons on them?
No, they don't appear to have any weapons.
Okay. Berg grabs the lockpicks from off the ground.
Snag them up off the ground.
Yeah. And then addresses them and says, "Get away from here now."
They both stand up and put their hands up, and one of them is like, we mean no harm, honored sir."
Leave! No!
And then they run. They just like run off. Yeah. So they flee, and you're just holding these lockpicks.
Okay, cool. Berg shuts the door.
He just kind of checks outside and then just shuts the door.
So we fade. There's a shot of Berg's face looking kind of stern, and then we get the crossfade to a drawing of Berg on a piece of paper. And there's a bunch of like characters written on it that we can't make out by looking, but the subtitles would be like "Wanted, Dead or Alive," escaped slave, and holding the piece of paper, I guess, is Azrael, because Grasping Hands has given it to you, and he's saying, he says, a bounty hunter came by the other day, showed me this, asked me if I had seen your friend anywhere. And he looks up at you and kind of cocks a stony eyebrow. Because he doesn't have any body hair. He's a genasi, so he's got this lumpy forehead. He just kind of like raises at you.
How much to buy him for myself?
He laughs and he says, "Not that kind of bounty, I'm afraid. Whoever placed that order wants your friend back. You'd have to deal with him directly. I'm sure I could put you in touch, but this feels personal." He like taps the paper.
Yes. Anyone who threatens my friend feels with the wrath of heaven.
And he laughs and he says, "I don't mean to make light of your strong moral compass. If anything, I respect it, Azrael, but how well do you know this half-breed you travel with? The slave's bracer is not simply earned."
I haven't been with him long, but I would know an evil person if I encountered one. He's done nothing but good since I've been with him.
It says there he's a murderer, wanted in the Court of Swords. You think he has been unjustly enslaved?
I will have to ask him. I don't know the story behind why he was enslaved.
You've seen this barbarian in action. He has a rage in him. Anything could be possible. He could have killed innocents, Azrael. You should be careful about who you make friends with.
I know. People who murder innocents, and I look him in the eyes, are people that I will deal with eventually.
He puts his hand to his chest. You wound me, Azrael. Murder is bad for business. I protect this neighborhood, keep it prosperous. I thought you were here to help me.
I am. We have a mutually beneficial agreement right now. We help each other. We don't choose our allies. Sometimes we're forced into them.
It would sadden me to see you lumped in with this man you travel with, to have his crimes placed on you as well. The Court of Swords does not look fondly on escaped slaves, especially those enslaved for murder. Be careful, Azrael.
I always am. I will figure out a way to deal with this. Whatever way I need to.
And he nods and he says, I bring this to you because I am concerned. I would not want you to sully your reputation.
And this is bad for your business as well.
He shrugs and he says, I've worked with bounty hunters before. Make your decision, but... And he gestures at the paper. He says, this contract is a lucrative one. If you wish to turn him in yourself. And he puts his hands up like, I know you're friends. I'm just saying. if you decide that that is the prudent form of justice, come to me. I will help you transact his apprehension.
Do you happen to know who put this bounty on him?
He nods. A member of the government of the Court of Swords, agent named Kukrit. I've not met the man personally, but I know him by reputation. I have eyes and ears in the fortress town to the south. I believe he resides there.
So you have allies there. I assume you have allies everywhere. Who am I kidding?
He smiles and puts his hands out. He says, I am simply a humble monk, my friend. The world provides for me, and I do with the hand I am dealt what I can. And like the irony of him saying that, like, I'm just a humble monk. Like he dresses like a monk. They all do. But he's got like fucking baller gold rings on both hands, and like big gold tooth. Like he's just like, it's all good. I'm a man of the earth.
Fate seems to always give you a good hand, though.
He says, I must have been a better man in a past life, reaping my rewards now.
You're a very curious man, Grasping Hands.
He nods and he says, you do not get rich without being a little bit curious.
Well, if you don't mind, me, my friend, are exhausted. We need time to rest. If you need of us, send someone for us.
And he says to you, if you find yourself in need of anything to help you relax, please just let me know. I want to reward your loyal service. And he gives you this kind of lascivious grin, like, whatever you need, I can get for you.
One thing we do need is some guards for our place. Beggars and thieves are hounding us. If you wouldn't mind taking care of that small thing for us.
He says, guards, you have recovered riches on your expedition?
Some knickknacks. You know how these things go.
The home that you are dwelling in is modest, unsafe, I think. Property I own, but would not live in myself. We could have you moved somewhere closer, where I could look after you more adequately, as befits your position in our organization. And like when he says our organization, he looks around like this, you're part of this shit, man. And like we see, a couple of these gangsters just like lying passed out with like an opium pipe in their hand. And we see the drunks kind of like playing their game and shouting. You just like long pan around the room to like really like let the viciness like sink in. He says, I don't think that your money is very safe where it is. Let me take care of you, Azrael.
Let me see this place. And more importantly, how much is it going to cost me?
He shakes his head and he says, cost you? No. We are beyond that, Azrael. We're friends. Friends help each other out, don't they? Let me help you, Azrael.
To make a deal with the devil. The irony.
Yeah, he smiles and he says, who better to understand the chains of loyalty that bind us all?
Well, we do need a place, and you are offering. I don't see why not.
He nods and he says, I will have my servants look into something appropriate for you.
And could you possibly get a perch from my friend here? He doesn't use a normal bed.
Yeah, he looks over and what are you doing while all this is happening, Gail?
I've probably become so disinterested in this conversation as it's really slow and meaningless to me. So I'm just kind of like eyeing the room and looking for anything that's like super shiny or super to a bird.
Okay, so
Distracting.
a couple of the drunk gangsters have definitely like tried to get you like to play the game. Like they're trying to explain to you how their like game works.
Okay.
We pan over and we see like a woman and a couple of men, and they're like clustered around you, and they're doing that thing where like the table is really low and they all crouch around it. They're not like sitting in seats, and you're in between them, and one of them has their arm around you, and he's pointing at the table, and there's all these kind of like multicolored tiles, and the woman like slams one down and then points at you, and then you have like tiles in your hand, and she points at the table.
Instead of just fucking this up, can I make an intelligence roll to see if I can play the game well? See if I've learned it.
Sure. There's there would be a
I know Kinku checkers. That's my gaming.
It's similar, but it's not the same.
Okay.
But you can make just a regular intelligence check, no bonus.
All right.
Wow, today.
Let's talk about what my 1 means.
I'm gonna let you explain to me how the worst possible way you could fuck this up is.
So she slams the checker down.
Yeah.
I probably step back from the table and draw my rapier and point it at her, thinking it's an act of aggression.
Okay. All right. So I guess you look over when you're like a perch from my friend, and you look over and you just see like Gale like draws rapier.
Yeah,
and
I've got a very like stern, like super cocky looking stance with my rapier just kind of like drawn out with my hand flipped over.
Yeah, and as soon
pointed
as the
right
weapon
at this
comes
lady.
out, as soon as we hear the like the hissing sound of the weapon, all of the gangsters in the room like draw like knives or fucking nunchucks or shit, and like suddenly the tension just like ramps all the way up in the room, and all these like gangsters like standing on the table holding weapons, like standing around looking at you like, what the fuck are you doing? And there's like a tension, and Grasping Hands just leans back and like rubs his chin and like watches to see what happens.
How tall are the ceilings?
Not that tall, like 10 feet, like a standard. Like,
Okay, well I go all 10 feet up. They just kind of sit
You
there.
fly a few feet off the ground.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean I'll like Indian sit in the middle of the air.
Hover.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Azrael, do you do anything?
What are you doing? Put your weapons away.
I don't put my weapon away until they do.
He doesn't understand things like games. He doesn't know what's going on.
Okay, so you want to convince them that he's just an idiot? And
Yeah, he's an idiot.
I hear this and I'm just like, no, that makes sense. And I'll start shouting in Draconic.
This is my dumb friend. You need a bird. All right, make a persuasion check, Azrael, with advantage. There you go.
23.
Okay. All right. So they're like, oh, okay, like, haha, you get. And they put their weapons away, and they all laugh. And I think two of them like reach up to grab you and like pull you down to the table. Someone puts a huge jug of like rice wine in your hands.
In my hands or his hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're like, if we can't teach the big dumb bird how to play the game, let's get it drunk. That'll be funny. So they like push the jar into your hands and like tip it up, like trying to get you to drink.
Okay. I'll just kind of keep it in my left hand, but I just hover back over to Azrael as if nothing has gone wrong. Everything's going correctly.
Okay. Yeah. So do you have any more business with Grasping Hands?
Not today. I think we'll head back to our place to go tell Berg what's happening. And
He says to you before you leave, he's like, Azrael, I don't feel safe with you trying to keep your money in that place. You should give it to me for the time being. I have vaults throughout the city. I can watch it for you.
give you all my money.
He shakes his head and gestures and he says, who better to guard your money than a man who has too much already?
This is true.
I don't like it.
Yeah, he just like tilts his head like, why would I'm not gonna steal from you. I already have shit tons of money.
As long as you promise me you'll keep it safe.
He nods. He says, Safety is my business.
And if I ever need it back, you'll give it to me without question.
He laughs and he says, of course. Your suspicion is smart, but unfounded.
You have to forgive me, having the devil hold my money. He's always a hesitant.
He nods and he says, I would not fault your paranoia. Good way to survive.
Well, if you can arrange to have your men put it in a safe place tomorrow and have our place ready, then that would be agreeable.
Yeah, he turns to one of his guards, one of his like friends, and he's like, Xiao, go with Azrael, bring a few of your boys, recover this treasure and keep it safe. And Xiao like bows and is already like putting a coat on because he's wearing his like loincloth or whatever. So he's getting dressed.
Okay. And I guess we go with the men to our place.
Yeah. So Xiao and like a half dozen other men and women of the 12-fold Thirsty Devils go with you to your home. Berg, you just hang out the whole time?
Yeah, hanging out. I guess a little bit more on alert, just because of the simple fact that people obviously are interested in trying to get in words spread. So he's a little bit on higher alert.
Yeah. I feel that. Okay, so you hang out, and after a little while, your friends return with a bunch of gangsters, smelling of opium. Your friends do too, but these guys especially.
Berg, these men will be keeping our money safe, and we're getting a better place to live in.
I just hand Berg the thing of rice wine and go over to the perch. Sit down.
Berg like grabs with one hand, just like,
what did they have him drinking?
It's some strong stuff. Makes you silly after drinking enough of it.
And what is this about us giving away our money?
We're not giving it away. We're just keeping it safe with the devil.
So Xiao and his goons are like, getting the treasure and putting it into chests to like take it away. And when you're talking, Xiao looks over at you, Berg, and he says, "Don't worry, big man. You're taken care of. Your friend made a good deal." And then goes back to like shouting at one of his men, like, "Pick that up."
To you.
As long as we serve Grasping Hands well and honestly, he will do good by us. That much I can assure you. He doesn't break his deals. He doesn't lie. But you have to be very careful about what he says.
Serve. That word. Serve. I have heard many times.
Sorry, poor choice of words there. I meant as we work for him.
I may not be the smartest, but I know when someone is taking advantage.
Don't worry, our friends here, and I point to them, would never betray us. They're loyal servants of him, and no one disobeys Grasping Hands.
Yeah, Xiao pipes up, and Xiao is this like stringy dude. He's real tall and like kind of gangly, and he's got these like tiger tattoos. His like he leans over, and he's always got this kind of hunched, like his clothes like kind of hang off him, and he's like hunched over a little bit, and you can see his tiger tattoo under his sort of like robe that he's wearing, and he points at you, Azrael, and he says, he's like, betrayal is only a good idea if you get a better deal. And there's no better deal in town than Grasping Hands. so you're fine. Everything will be okay. Grasping Hands took care of me when I needed him. We all have a story. And he like looks over at this young woman who's like lifting the chest, and he points at her and he's like, she was an orphan. His family died to bandits. All of us taken care of by Grasping Hands, and now you too, Tianchi. Everything will be fine.
You see, Berg, he's an honorable man. Just his ways might not always be the highest of roads, but he gets things done.
Berg,
We can trust him for now.
I think Berg now feeling very uneasy. This whole time he's had his mask on since encountering the two thieves. He takes off his masks and looks at Azrael very, very pointedly, dead in the eyes, not blinking, and says,
Betrayal is a funny thing. You'll never know when your friends might do it to you.
That's why you
puts his mask back on.
Mm-hmm. That's why you choose your friends very wisely, Berg. I wait for them to leave before.
Yeah, so they've got it. Let's talk about this. So they've got it all bundled up, and we cut over to Xiao, and he's like got a quill, and he's like writing out. He doesn't have a brush because he used calligraphy, so he's like brushing out a receipt basically for you. How much gold and silver and all that stuff goes into Grasping Hands Bank? How much do you give him?
I think I will give him. But how much? Like how cumbersome is like, let's say like 1,000 gold pieces? Like how trying to imagine.
There's
that, like,
weight for all that somewhere. I don't know where it's at though.
Yeah, how much does a GP like weigh? I think I remember we talked about this, but I can't remember exactly.
Those are the exchange rates. Fucking Christ. Yeah, I'm trying to find it.
Let's see. A gold piece. Let's see. Basically weighs. Yeah, again, like we have the division here. It's like 50 gold to a pound or something.
Mm-hmm. That's pretty heavy. Okay.
Yeah,
so,
I think 50 gold to the pound. Yeah, I think that's what it was.
Okay, I think I'll give him a good chunk of all our. Look, we have so many just coins.
Yeah.
We'll give him 3,000 silver pieces.
Okay.
600 copper.
Okay.
1,500 gold.
Okay.
And then 145 platinum.
Okay. And so the remainder, what are you doing with it? How much is there and who's taking what?
We have 1,800, and I think like each of us will hold a chunk of it.
600 each.
On our like character.
1,800 gold divided by the three of you divided by 50 to a pound. That's 12 pounds of gold carrying around each, which is fine, but it's heavy.
We need to fucking find a.
I plan on spending some of this, so like it won't have it for
Okay.
long. We're gonna buy potions and other stuff.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, so we'll keep that much for ourselves.
All right. Sounds
Then
good.
we also I'll have a bunch of stuff that's. Is he gonna just take the money, or will he take like the stuff that's worth things as well?
Oh yeah, he'll store whatever you want. What else goes in the bank?
Okay, we have a silk robe worth 250 gold.
Hey, you're
Tapestry.
doing the thing to Adam now. This is great.
Yeah, tapestry for 250 gold. Iron medallion for 25 gold.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it. Everything else is
All right, so a
lightweight.
few works of art. Basically, the moving crew just like takes all this stuff, puts it in crates, and gets it out of the house to take to the bank.
Okay.
Okay.
Boom, boom, boom. Just marking everything. Okay.
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. Then once they're gone,
Mhm.
then I tell Berg, like, I'm not an idiot, Berg. he's going to find some way to either not give it back to us, give us a fraction of it, or betray us in some way. I'm not stupid, but we have to play along. There's a much bigger game going on here. But we have something more immediate we need to talk about. That thing around your arm. People are coming. He's put a very, very high bounty on your head. This Krukreet. A bounty hunter was here, and Grasping Hands sent him away. What I need to know, and please be honest with me, what happened that made you have to wear this?
So there's like, as you say, like what happened? We get the pan over, or we cut to Berg's face. But before Berg can go into his tragic backstory, let's take a break.
Because he's got to figure it out.
Yeah, when we return, Berg can tell us of his tragic past. Or not. He could stonewall us, but we'll see. Stick around.
It's up to him.
No.
All right, let's take a break. Still got 2 hours left to go here on Course Sword. So we'll be right back with hour 3. We'll see you then.